I swear I've been talking this holiday forever. Never mind. Let's get on with it. This is holiday week 2. Let's get started. On Sunday, we went to look at the cottage we had failed to find before, then failed to find another one. We found it eventually, then went back to Corfe Castle for an ice cream. We also walked around the ruined castle and briefly looked in the National Trust shop. On Monday, we stayed in and I read my Dorset magazine Forgot from Sainsbury's, worked on the sequin ball, and did these pony paintings from a 99p set. I gave up trying to make them accurate when it became clear the paint was rubbish anyway, so I just did what I felt like. On Tuesday, we went to Dorchester for lunch and looked round the shops. We didn't buy anything, but I did find a £10 note. I was expecting to spend money, not find it. We then went to look round the animal sanctuary, and there were these huge giant rabbits. There were actually 3 of them, but it was very difficult to photograph them, as my camera kept focusing on the caging rather than the contents. When we got back to the cottage, I did a bit of experimental photography out the window. On Wednesday, we went to Swanage and walked along the beach a bit. We then went to South Beach and walked along the beach there, where I got some photographs, and then took a walk to Old Harry Rocks. When we got back to the cottage, I finished the sequin ball I had been working on. On Thursday it was pouring down. We had a rather unsuccessful lunch in Dorchester, and then headed to Kimmeridge to look at the etchings collection, which was really interesting and aimed at an accessible yet unpatronising level, unlike a lot of stuff you get these days. Don't know how they managed to cram so much into such a small space, though. On the way back, not only did I see another heir, but I missed photographing this one too. I swear these heirs are conspiring against me. On Friday, the weather was a bit nicer, so we headed for Swanage. I took some more cow photographs on the way. We had finished lunch, then walked quite a distance along the beach, to where it was quite wild in comparison to the rest. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my camera with me, so I missed out on some really good photo opportunities, but I did manage to collect a fair amount of shells and stones to use for future cyanotypes and other projects. I also paddled in the sea, and then got my feet very sandy. After that, we drove around a bit, looking for photographic opportunities, but didn't find anything, so we returned to the cottage to pack for the next day. On Saturday, we packed up and went to Swanage for an early lunch, before returning home. It took way longer than it should have to get home, as we had to go all over the place following the sat-nav to avoid the M3 diversion. During this week, I read Warriors, The Untold Stories, which is Hoyleaf's Story, Misty Star's Omen, and Cloud Star's Journey, and Star Friends Mirror Magic. Apart from the obvious political correctness of all the characters being different races, Star Friends was mostly a very enjoyable read, my only other complaint being that a few character development points within the story came across as unconvincing due to the way they had been written. As for the Untold Stories, they certainly developed the characters and their relationships with other characters that really enhanced the overall story and world. My only passing comments, really, relate to how the story seemed to suddenly stop, and slightly earlier than you might expect. I know they link into the main stories, but I can't help but feel that they should be written so that it wasn't so incredibly necessary for you to have read the main books they tie into to understand the endings. That's all for my holiday stuff, guys. Now I can get into what I've actually been doing in the meantime. And hopefully I won't be slurring all my words next time. So until then, well, bye.